Hi there, welcome to another Facemaker tutorial. This is the Facemaker channel, and today we're gonna make a watch face for two different brands, Huawei and Amazfit. So yeah, we'll be using the latest version of Facemaker. So let's start it. And yeah, we're gonna make the same watch face for two different watches, for Amazfit GTR4 and Huawei GT3. So let's first, I'm gonna use version 1.2.23. I'll be posting very soon the next version, and probably when you watch this video, this new version will be already available. So yeah, we're gonna start by with Amazfit, and for that we're gonna use images I made on GIMP, and this is the file I designed. I know design is not my forte, and you can see it, but yeah, I try, I do my best, and I try. So this will be the images we'll be using for the watch face. So this will be the background. This is of course a watch face with a Facemaker brand, and we will be animating some of the graphics. So let's start by selecting the Amazfit GTR4, which you can see here, the Amazfit watches. So select and submit. And now we're gonna start the watch face, and we'll be adding a background main container right here, and then we'll be adding a image widget like this. And now you can upload the image, select it from the library, or press generate. By the way, almost all widgets on Facemaker have the generate functionality. So when you press generate, you have three options for the background image. You can use a gradient, a dial, or a circle. Just for demonstration purpose, we're gonna show you how to build a dial very quickly. So you can increase the number size, and we can set the numbers around, because this can be used for a month day, for example, and you can increase the number of digits on the dial up to 31. So once I set them, you can see now this is correct. We can always activate the hour marks, and just increase the height of the numbers, and define the number font like this. Well, not this one, maybe this one. Yeah. And by the way, you can import fonts here on the font tab in the preferences dialog, and then you can use them for all these widgets and generate new graphics using these fonts. Okay, so yeah, let's submit. And this is a dial. We can set the numbers color, or rather gradient, and also activate the minutes marks, and change their color too. So yeah, I urge you to experiment, and you can do a lot of things with this. So yeah, let's select another font, but you got the idea now of what you can do with this. But we won't be using a generated dial. We're going to use images we developed earlier, we designed in GIMP, which will be these. And I'll be using the drag and drop feature, just like that. You can simply drag and drop and put the image on that field, on that preview. But you can also press upload and select the image. So yeah, we have the background image, and now we're gonna add another image, which will be the gear. And but first, let's take care of the analog dial. These will be hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay. And by the way, I'm gonna switch the hours with the minutes, because when I designed, I made the center of the hand larger for the minutes, so that it has to be beneath the hours. So let's select the image we want to use and just drag and drop. And there you go. So let's just resize the UI and get more space. By the way, this was implemented in the latest version. You can now resize the UI areas. And this is very handy because you get more space when you zoom in like this. So yeah, we have the hand ready to set. So I think I'm going to first set the location. And for this, the guidelines are useful. We can activate them, pull it slightly up like this, and I'll set the pivot. The pivot is the point around where the hand will rotate, and this is very important because usually you will notice if they're not centered, you will notice it doesn't work very well. So when the hands are overlaid over each other. So yeah, the pivot is correct. Now let's press preview, and you can see it's 5 minutes past midnight, so it's pointing in the 5 minutes mark here. So it is working. And now 6 past midnight. Okay, so let's stop the preview. Very good. Now let's press here the hours widget, and let's drag and drop the hours. Oh, I think I made a mistake. So I loaded the hours hand into the minutes widget, but no problem. Let's just we'll solve this in a minute. For now, let's rename this widget here into hours, or rather minutes. And now let's drag the correct graphic, and we'll have to set it all up again. Sorry about this. So yeah, let's try to put it somewhat in the middle, and I'll pull it up. And you can see the guidelines are very handy for this kind of job, because you get a preview of the exact center of the watch face, like that. Set the pivot. Okay, so yeah, the minutes are now set, and now let's set the hours too. It's the same thing, just drag the pivot. You can also do this manually or by using your arrow keys for the positioning, I mean. And now let's press preview, and there you go, hours and minutes working. So it's 7 past midnight and everything works. So we can now proceed with the seconds. Let's just drag and drop the second hand into the image preview, and there you go. Now we'll pull this up and try to place it somewhat in the middle, and also comparing with the hands that are beneath, so they're all centered. And now set the pivot like this, a little bit to the left, maybe up, and okay, yeah, let's press preview, and this is working. nicely, I think. So maybe a little adjustment here. Pull it downwards, and yeah, I believe this will work. This will be totally unnoticeable because we're talking about pixels, 1 or 2 pixels. But yeah, it looks centered, so we can proceed. We have the analog dials all set. And now here on the background, we are going to add an image. We could use an animation if we had one. What I mean is I want to put a rotating gear rotating in the background beneath the background image, but we don't have one, so we're going to create it on Facemaker by adding an image widget, and we have the gear image here, and all we need to do is drag it, and there you go. Let's just lock the analog dial widget there, the container, so it doesn't get in the way. Now we can drag it and place it wherever we want it to be, and it has to match this this screw there. Okay, this is now in place, and what we need is to create an animation by pressing here the Animations tab, adding a new action, and set it to loop. And I always advise people to use 25 frames per second. This will give better results because it will be smoother. And now let's set this to do a rotation animation, and set it to rotate 360 degrees clockwise. Okay, and if you press preview, you'll see it's rotating in a loop. Okay, this is way too fast. I mean, we need to make the animation last longer. Let's make it last 3000 milliseconds, and this will translate into 3 seconds duration for a 360 revolution. So yeah, press preview, and there you go. I think this is perfect. And now let's put it beneath the background graphic and press preview, and you can see how it will work. This is what we're going for, to have some gears rotating in the background. And okay, so now we need to duplicate this graphic and put it on these spots where you see the screws. And for that, first we should convert the image into a real animation, because right now this is just a preview of what it will look like. We first need to generate the frames, just like a regular movie, a regular video. It's made out of frames. So first we can just translate it into an animation, and then use an effect to invert it, and you will see why in just a minute. So yeah, we have this action, and we're going to convert it into a frame by frame widget by pressing convert to animation. And you can see this image and its actions will be converted into an animation. So just press yes. And please notice that it will take a while, because we're generating each frame, and it will be composed out of 25 frames per second, and we have 3 seconds, so at the end you will have 75 images, so 25 times 3. Depending on your hardware, this can take a while. As you can see, I'm running a i7, an Intel i7 with a lot of memory. I have 64 gigabytes of memory, of RAM, and yeah, this is gonna take a little while. But in the meanwhile, while we wait, I can explain what we're aiming for. So first, we'll have an animation, and then we're going to duplicate it and place it on the other screws. And to make it look good, we're going to have to invert some of them, and using an effect, an image effect, which is another Facemaker feature. Almost all widgets have effects available. So yeah, we could use here on the actions, we can use translation, scale, we can make it move around the screen and resize in real time, and then translate it into an animation. And this is now at 56%, so yeah, it can take up to 2-3 minutes sometimes, depending on the complexity of the animation. And yeah, as I said, we're going to be copying this animation when it's ready, and duplicate it and then invert it to make it rotate correctly and fit correctly. So yeah, we're on 73, 75, almost done. Okay, just a little bit more. So yeah, %, 91, and we're almost done. So 99, and there we go. We have the animation ready, and if you take a look, it will be 75 frames for 3 seconds of animation. And this gear is now animated. It's made out of real frames. And if you press preview, you'll see we have a true animation. We've transformed an image, a static image, into an animation just in Facemaker. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna crop the content to optimize, because it's currently using more space than it should. So crop the content, and there you go. And now if you look at the frame editor, press preview first. So if you take a look at the frame editor, you'll see that it's all cropped to content and using the least space possible. And yeah, we have our animation. So now we are going to duplicate this animation here, and let's rename it. You can rename it here on the label on the right. And now let's just, oops, sorry, this one is wrong. So duplicate this, and again, so we have 4 gears like that. And now let's rename this. You can also rename the widgets by double clicking the name here on the layer. And yeah, gear 2, gear 3, and gear 4. You should always rename your layers, because it will make your life easier when you have 100 layers of widgets. Okay, so yeah, now we can pick up each of these duplicated gears, zoom in and place it correctly like that. Yep. And okay, now let's lock this one and this one, and now we can place the remaining gears on the other side. Just zoom in and try to make it match with the screw. And finally, this one, we'll place it down here like that. Okay, so all is done. If you press preview, you'll notice all gears are rotating in the same direction, which is wrong because the upper one should be rotating in the reverse direction of the bottom one. Okay, so we can do this easily on Facemaker. All we have to do is select the widget. Let's unlock them and select one of them. This one, for example, the upper one. Let's hide the background image and unlock this one too. Okay, so yeah, let's bring this one beneath, and now, okay, let's go into the effects and select flip horizontal. Okay, and there you go. Now it will be rotating in the reverse direction, and now this is correct on the left. Okay, but it doesn't match. The teeth from the gear do not match. So if you look closely, they are overlapping, and we needed to, match exactly the rotation of the upper or the lower one. So yeah, let's select it and just give it a little bit of rotation up here and make it match. And now if you press preview, now it is perfect, or at least close to that. Remember, this will be located beneath the background image, so there's no need for it to be perfect. Oh, sorry, this is not invert that I wanted, so let's delete it and select flip horizontal, and like we did on the other side, let's give it a little bit of rotation and try to match. And there you go. Maybe just one more degree, and press preview, and yeah, this is now perfect. Let's unhide the background image, and this is what we're going for. So yeah, this is coming out very nicely. Let's now take care of the moon phase widget down here, and for that we need to add an image I prepared earlier, and this will be this element here. This is used in many watches from all brands. And now let's place it and resize it, because I made it slightly larger than what we needed. So let's place it and then resize. And by the way, to resize you can simply press Ctrl and use the mouse, click and drag, and this is now done. Okay, what we need now is the moon graphics, and for that we're going to add a date container on the widget main container. So date, and here we're going to choose the lunar phase. Okay, and we can use 8 images for this. Let's select the graphics. We have them here. I prepared them earlier, so just select all the 8 images with shift and drag and drop them on the image preview like this. And there you go. Now we have the moon, and we're gonna place it, and we'll have to resize it also. So this is very easy by using Control. Let's try to match the underneath graphic just a tad bigger. It needs to be a little bit bigger, like this. This should work. And now let's place it here. Maybe just a little bit bigger, perhaps. No, I think this will work. So now we need this graphic, this underneath graphic, to be above. So if you're a sponsor, you can easily do this by just drag and dropping the image from one container to the other. So like this. And put it above the moon, okay? So yeah, now the moon is hidden. It's new moon, but if you press preview, you can see the moon phase, the current moon phase. And this will move according to the moon phase, the current moon phase. And it will move from new moon into full moon and back to new moon, okay? So yeah, I think this is done now. And we can now lock this container and take care of the remaining widgets or complications. So yeah, we can collapse this one. And now let's take care of the other two widgets you see here, these red spaces on the left and on the right. And they will be steps and battery, okay? So we're going to, stop the preview first and now start adding our images to build those widgets. So yeah, on the left we're gonna add the steps, and for that we need a steps container inside the widget, and let's move it underneath the analog dial, and so the date should always be beneath, like that, so the analog dial is above. And now let's select rotary, and on the rotary we need to load a graphic I prepared. So this one here, just drag and drop as usual. And now let's just try to place it. This would be easier by just drag and dropping, but this way it's more precise. Just like that. And now we can try to match that middle, like that, maybe 1 pixel less. And now let's bring it upwards and a little bit to the right. And there you go. This is now placed. All we need to set now is the pivot. Yeah. Now let me see here. Yeah, we're gonna need to add a label to the widget too, because we need to know that the data there is about the steps. And this is about the progress you make in a day, if you're closer or not to 100%. So if you set 10,000 steps as a target, this hand will move. And now let's set the label, and we'll call it steps, or rather use the text steps, and let's give it a, a somewhat grayish color. This should work. And let's make it smaller. And now we need to make it circular text, so press this checkbox here, bring it upwards, and let's decrease the radius. This is currently too large, and yeah, make it smaller. And by the way, this font won't work. This is too tall, this font here. Let's first try to position it, and now resize the text area radius. And now let's make it smaller, and maybe select another font. Now let's see. Nope. And yeah, I think this one will work. Make it a little bit smaller, like that, and increase the radius until you're satisfied with the result. And now we need to place it down here. And for that, we're going to make it inward, face inward like this. And now make the starting angle to 180. Okay, so this is now done. We just need to make some adjustments. Bring it a little bit to the left and up like this, and resize, and there you go. So this complication here will represent the steps, and now we need to set the start and end angle for the rotary, but first we need to also set the 0, 50% and 100%, and this is easily achievable with another artistic text. And we'll clone this one, and now we'll set the 0%, give it some spaces, and then okay, so more or less 14 spaces, something like this, and then 50, and now the same amount of spaces, and put 100% on the label. Okay, so let's remove the percentage here. We're going to use the percentage sign on the 50 and not on the others. And now let's reduce the radius because we want it inside of the red graphic. So let's place it more or less inside it and set the radius accordingly, like that. Okay, and now adjust the height and vertical positioning and horizontal positioning, and now we set the 100 there and 0 here. So we need to adjust the starting angle, and yeah, it looks now let's set the 0 here like this, and now we need to switch the 50% and the 100%, but you know what, I'm gonna create a specific graphic for the 50% instead, because otherwise it will look inverted. So yeah, let's delete it and just use the 0 and the 100 like here exactly, and then we'll use another graphic for the 50%. So now just adjust the starting angle like this, and now just increase the spaces until you're satisfied with the positioning. Like this, and there you go, 0 and 100%. Yeah, this might be too much. Let's remove one space, and yeah, I think this will work just fine. Maybe just a small adjustment here, and there we go, we have 0 and 100. And now we need to duplicate this one, and just use the 50% string here, and now change the starting angle, well, not 50 and but 50%. We'll be changing that shortly. So once this is in place, let's just fix that. And now let's disable inward facing, but first set the right angle, and now disable the inward facing, and there we go. Now we have 50%, and this will be in the middle, something like this, and a little bit downwards, and this is now done. Okay, so we're gonna make the same thing here on the right, and this will be for the battery, but the 100 and the 0 will be inverted. Okay, so let me show you. Let's just add a battery container on the widget container, and then bring it beneath the analog dial. And now we're going to duplicate this by using Control-C, Control-V, or rather copy-paste. And all you have to do is select the widget and just select the container and paste. Okay, so Control-C, Control-V. And now let's move it horizontally. Again, I could do this this way, or I could use the arrow keys on the keyboard, or simply drag and drop with the mouse, but this way is more precise. Okay, so yeah, 0 and 100, but we need to invert these values, so 100 first and 0 on the other side. And now just adjust the starting angle like this. Yeah. Okay. Now this is now done. Let's copy the 50% too. So Control-C, select the battery, Control-V, and just move it horizontally on the x-axis. And let's make this faster by incrementing 100. And there you go. This is now placed and finished, I think. What we need now is to set the other hand for the battery, but I forgot to set the start and end angle. So we want to start on the 0 and end on the 100. So we're going to use minus 143 degrees for the starting angle, and for the end angle 145. There you go. And now if we press preview, or rather let's take care of the battery hand first. So yeah, put it above the graphics, and the same for the steps. And now let's just drag and drop the hand graphic here, and let's take a look at this one. So it's located on 168 in the y-axis, and now let's just insert it manually, 168, and now bring it to the right. Again, this could be done manually, but I prefer it this way because it's more precise. Yeah, this is now done. Let's set the pivot like that. So you can also, preview it by shift and rotating the mouse. So the pivot here is 65 and here 66, so let's set it accordingly. Let's set the start and angles, and this should be 145, the start angle, and the end angle by minus 143. Okay, so let's press preview. Okay, and I think we're done with this watch face. Haha. And as you can see, it was very easy to achieve. Yeah. Now let me see one thing here. Okay, let's just. Oh yeah, we need the label for the battery on the right. So let's set it accordingly. And we should change this this label to power. let's just set it correctly. There you go. And now just write power here with the uppercase, like that. And yeah, we're all done. The watch face is ready, and yeah, I think this is good. I mean, it's just for demonstrating purpose, but oh yeah, I forgot. One thing about this is that the hands are a little bit too bright. They're almost pure white, and we need to make them somewhat darker. So we can achieve that easily on Facemaker by adding an image effect. So just select each of these hands and go into the effects tab and select a brightness effect and just bring it down like 30%. And here too. So brightness and minus 30. There you go. I'm doing this because your watch has an OLED screen, and whites usually look very bright on the watch, and they can be quite overwhelming. So we're trying to match the theme of the watch face here and make it somewhat darker. And this one here too. So brightness, and set it to 30, minus 30. And okay, let's press preview, and there you go. Now it's less overwhelming, and it will look brighter than the surroundings, so it will still look brighter, don't worry. So yeah, this is all said and done. We just need to add a shortcut. So when you press the screen, you'll be taken into the app on the watch. So shortcut for steps, here it is, steps shortcut, and let's place it here. This way, when you press it, you will be taken into the steps app on the watch, just like that. So this is a tappable area that you can simply tap, and it's like a shortcut, okay? So now the battery shortcut also. Let's resize and place it correctly. Something like this. And the shortcuts are done. And now, oh, by the way, you should never do this, which is to have a fully developed watch face without naming it and saving it, okay? So I'm going into the file face info and give it a name. So this one is, I can't remember the name I gave it, so let me just check here. It's a Freestyler, yeah. FM, Freestyler FM, and yeah, just press submit, and now you can press file save as and save a copy of the watch face on the desktop in this case. And there we go, this is now saved, and we can open it whenever we want to export or edit or whatever. And finally, we're going to create an always-on display, which is the screen that shows when your screen goes off. This is a light version of your watch face. Let's call it like that. So yeah, we can easily just duplicate the elements from the normal watch face into the always-on display. So yeah, we're now going to add a background container and a widget container. Add an analog dial, And now we can simply select these three by shift clicking, Control C, like this. And now select the analog dial there and just Control V. And there you go. They are duplicated there. And if you press preview, you can see how it works. Okay, so this is a very organic way of copying widgets from one container into another. But remember, you can only do this if you're a sponsor. If you're not, well, you have to create the widgets here. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to delete these seconds because having a widget moving every second on the always on display will use too much battery. Okay, so we have to save the battery by not using a seconds hand. And now we need a background, and we're going to the GIMP file. Let me just hide the guides here, too much confusion. And we're going to get that dial, that analog dial from the GIMP file here. So let's hide the unwanted graphics, like this one, and hide all these until we're left with just this. And let's remove also these elements here, and there you go. We're going to use only this for the AOD background. So export as. Let's go into the Freestyler folder and name it AOD background, and export. Let's go back into Facemaker. On the background of the always on display, let's add an image. And now just simply drag and drop the image we just exported. And there you go. Let's hide the guidelines and press preview. And this will be the image on your always on display. So usually you turn your wrist, you get the full version of the watch face. And when it turns off, you get this AOD, always on display version, which won't use so much battery. Yeah, this watch face is done, and this is the Amazfit version. Okay, I'll later show you how it's working on the watch. I don't have a GT3, but we're gonna build it anyway. Okay, so yeah, this way you can compare how the two frameworks differ from one another. So this is now saved. Let's save it, and then we're gonna start a new watch face, and this time for Huawei GT3 watch. Oh, but first we can simply show how the export works. So you just press export, and we're now effectively creating the watch face. Okay, this is the final step, and Facemaker is creating the images. You can see the progress. The images have a weird format for Amazfit, so they have to be packaged and before being compressed in a zip file. So 80%, almost done here. Running packager, and there you go. We have the final watch face there, that one zip file there, and you also have all the files that were compressed on the zip file, and this you can import into your watch. Okay, so this is now done. Let's proceed and make exactly the same thing, but this time for Huawei GT3. Okay, so yeah. So if we go into the background main container, select one of the gears and just press save to disk. Let's go into the pictures folder, watch faces, freestyler FM, and create a new folder and call it gear. There you go. And now we'll save all the images of this animation inside this folder, and it's now exported, and we can now use it on the Huawei version. No, not this one. Here. And these are the 75 images that make up the animation, the gear animation. So let's press new and reselect the Huawei watch GT3 46 millimeters. There you go. Submit. Add a background container. Insert an image widget and just drag and drop the background image. There you go. So now let's import the gear animation. So we'll add a frame by frame, and now we can simply drag and drop those 75 frames by selecting them all with shift like this and drag them, and there you go. The animation is now imported, and we can just simply place it like that. Okay, duplicate it by using Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and okay, now Ctrl C, Ctrl V, copy pasting, and placing, and finally let's add a flip horizontal, and this one is now flipped, so all we need to do is duplicate it, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and place it where it should be, like that. And now let's try to match. Oh, sorry, I duplicated the wrong widget, I'm sorry. So it's not this one, this one. Yeah. So duplicate this one, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and now place it correctly up here. Okay. Okay, now all gears are placed correctly. Let's preview it. Working nicely, I would say. And now let's add the clock hands by inserting a time main container. And here we had a rotary. And let's duplicate it twice, like this, or clone. And now all we need to do is drag and drop the clock hands. You know, this is more of the same basically, but Huawei is slightly different from Amazfit. Let's enable the guidelines. You can also press Ctrl G on your desk, on your keyboard. Yeah, just like that. And just like we did for Amazfit, we'll set the pivot for all hands. And yeah, there you go. All done with the minutes. Now let's set the hours, and like that. Bring it upwards. This is more of the same like we did for Amazfit, but slightly different because Huawei works with widget types, and so rotary, lines, circles, and then you can select the data type, and that's how it works. So now the seconds, and this one, drag and drop, and bring it upwards like that. Yeah, just set the pivot, and this is now done, I think. Let's zoom out, press preview. Oh, I forgot to set the rotary data types. So this one will be hours 12. So 12 hours for one revolution, minutes, or rather hours, and seconds. There you go. So if we now press preview, this will be correct. And yes, it's working correctly. I like it. Okay, so now let's proceed. And first, take care of the face info. So this is Freestyler FM. Okay, so Freestyler FM for GT3 rather. FM GT3, and save it. Save as. We'll save it on the desktop too, like we did with the Amazfit one. And now this is coming along very nicely. We just need to create the moon phase widget, the steps widget, and the battery widget. So let's stop preview, and we need to import the graphics for because we made them. We made it earlier on the Amazfit version, so we don't need to create it again and lose all that time. So yeah, we can simply go into the Amazfit watch face. So open it, the Amazfit watch face. So but first let's add the widget container, set the data type to lunar face. There you go. And then add a image set and an image. So for the image, we'll be loading that cover here. It's pretty much like we did for Amazfit. Just place it, resize it, and you can see both systems are very alike, but this is only because Facemaker makes it look alike. So yeah, just lock these layers, and now we're gonna load the image, the lunar image set also, and get this over with. Maybe adjust it slightly. Okay, this is correct now. So select the image set and just drag the moon graphics like we did for Amazfit. So select them, drag and drop them. Oh, I forgot to set the widget data type. So remember that. Now it's set to lunar face, and now drag and drop, and the images will be accepted. So there we go. like we did for Amazfit, just size it, bring it above so we can see what we're doing. By using the arrow keys, we can also position it just like that, and maybe, yeah, bring it downwards now, and it's now beneath. And if you press preview, you'll see we'll get the same effect we had with the Amazfit watch face. Okay, now I'm getting dizzy. So press the preview, or rather stop the preview. This is now done, lunar face container, and we can now proceed with the other widgets on the left and right. So yeah, this is now done, and we need to go and get the other, oh, and by the way, you can auto rename the containers. You may have noticed I just had it a container, and it when I select the data type, it auto renamed the container to lunar face. You can select that on the preferences. Okay, so now let's take care of the others. Let's save. Let's take care of the other widgets. Let's go into the Amazfit one, and we're gonna save this these graphics here, these text artistic graphics. And this is very easy. All we need to do is go into the battery and steps containers, and you'll see we have 3 artistic text widgets here in each one of them, and we need to convert them into graphics, into images, by pressing convert to image, and convert to image, and do the same for the steps. And now they're regular images. We can export and merge. So we're merging this graphic here with the ones beneath it, and now you can see what we have there. We have converted and merged all the 3 graphics into one, like this, and now we can simply save these images and use them on the Huawei watch face. So save to disk, go and select the correct folder, so pictures, watch faces, and Freestyler FM, and now just select folder, and the image is now saved. And if we go into the folder, you'll see we have that image there. So let's rename it. This will be power IMG, and do the same now for the steps. Select it, save to disk, select the folder, and OK. And if we go into the folder, here we have the steps. So steps underscore IMG. There you go. And now we can use it on the Huawei watch face. Open recent and go and open the Huawei version. Expand this, add 2 containers. One for the steps, like that, and add the image. And now we can load the label image we've just exported, like that. yeah, I think this is correct. And also the container. By the way, any container for Huawei is a shortcut. So the same way we did for Amazfit by setting a shortcut, here the shortcuts are the containers themselves. So yeah, we can set the width and height, and when you tap that area on the watch, you will have a shortcut that will take you into the steps app, okay, on the watch. I had this inverted, so this one will be battery. And let's set the steps container location correctly. Okay, we'll drag and we'll resize the area like this. And the steps are now done, and the battery container also we need to set the label, so we can do just like we did for the steps. So add an image and use the image we exported from the Amazfit watch face. So there we go. Like that. Okay, adjust it with the arrow keys on your keyboard. Now we can lock it, both of them, and finally we'll have the rotary like that. Set it to steps and just drag and drop, just like we did for Amazfit. Sorry, like that. So, you know, this is more of what we did. We're just repeating it for Huawei, so you can see that even though they're different brands and different watches, they're pretty much alike. If you know what you're doing, you can use the same graphics from one watch face into the other. And it's very easy to just convert a Huawei watch face into an Amazfit watch face, or vice versa. So yeah, placing the pivot. This is almost done. And yeah, so now let's add a rotary on the battery too, and import the graphic. There we go. Set it to battery, and now we'll just set the pivot. Like this. And now just place it on the right. And we're almost done with the normal watch face, and we'll take care, like we did for Amazfit, we'll take care of making a always on display version 2. So this is now done and working. Okay, so now we can stop review, and without further ado, we can lock all the other layers because this is now finished. And press the always on display button here. We need the background image, so Control C or copy, and had a time subcontainer. And you know, we can simply clone these also, so Control C and Control V, and there you go, boom. Exactly like we did for Amazfit. Okay, so preview. Let's stop it and add the background image too. So we'll add an image and we'll load that AOD image we prepared earlier. Just drag and drop, and this is all done now. As you can see, using the same images, we have just duplicated and made a watch face for Amazfit and Huawei. By the way, I forgot to make them darker, so yeah, like we did for Amazfit, let's make it 30% darker, because Huawei also has OLED screen. So yeah, 30%. Add a brightness filter. Okay, and now also the steps and battery batteries. Let's select it and add a brightness filter. You know, this is optional, but I prefer to have them not standing out so much. And yeah, this is finished. Okay, so now we can copy these darker versions into the always on display by using copy paste, like that. And ta-da! This is done now. Okay, in just under an hour we've built a watch face, the same watch face for two brands and two different watches. So let's export this for Huawei, and it's creating the images. It should have a lot of them because of the, you know, the animations. And we also have the moon phase image set, which it's only 8 images, but yeah, Facemaker is creating them all and now running the packages, and you can see it's almost 300 images. And there we go, we have the watch face ready, which is this HWT file. This is what we'll import into your watch, and we have done the watch faces. They are complete, they are done, and now we're going to preview them on the watch. In this case, we're going to preview the Amazfit one. So this is the final effect of the watch face we've just made on Facemaker. I hope you follow the steps and build your own watch face based on this. Of course, this is just a preview on the Amazfit GTR 4, but it will work just the same on Huawei GT3. Thank you very much for watching my video, and I see you next time on the Facemaker YouTube channel. Bye, and thank you.